Eternal Atake 2, the coverage continues, part 2.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It Music Review Season 10. I'm back with another episode, and today we got a good show because we have part 2 of the Eternal Atake 2 album review. Now, I know I said a lot of 2s there, but we will have part 3 tomorrow night, so, I won't be saying 2 as much. But, welcome to the show, guys. If you haven't seen part 1, we went over my 3 points, my overall thoughts about how I'm feeling about Eternal Atake 2. If you want to go check that out, part 1 is already up, and part 2 will be up. Part 3, actually, will be up Tuesday night. So, guys, I'm loving talking about this album, because this album is very interesting to me, because this is kind of like a nostalgic ride looking back on, and then it's kind of like stopping mid-tracks and going, okay, but is this album, let's put the rose tinted glasses up a little bit, is this album actually, decent or good? And I love talking about albums, and we've been on an album review streak, which is kind of crazy. This is like the third album review, the third album review we've done, so we've been on a little bit of a streak. Now, I am breaking that streak on Wednesday night, because we are talking about Flow, because their album's dropping on Friday. But, hey, 3 album reviews in a row. Come on, guys. Clap it up for me. I finally did it, But today, for part 2, we're going over all the tracks. We're going to go over all the tracks. I'm going to rate them 1 out of 5. Now, if I'm looking at this album, there is a lot of tracks. I can't even lie to you. There's 16 songs, so we have a lot to go over, guys. So this is why it's part 2. And let's talk about it, guys. We're going to go over every single track. But before we do, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow. Turn on notifications. I'm going to be dropping content all week. And, hey, part 3 is coming up Tuesday night. So get ready for that. We'll be going over my overall thoughts and my last feelings and score on part 3 tomorrow night. But today, we're just going to go over all the tracks. And now, when I go over all the tracks in the album, we rate them 1 out of 5. So, the only above higher you can get is 5, and then we'll do the 1 out of 10 for the overall album review. I haven't fucking said this. We've been doing album reviews fucking all weekend, and starting the next week. So y'all probably know this at this point, but if you didn't, there you go. Eternal Atake 2, let's start talking about it. Let's start off with the first track, guys. We Good. The first track is called We Good, and I'm not gonna lie. We Good was definitely a track. It was alright. The beat was, generic. It was kind of like, whatever. And it's kind of one of those things where We Good is an alright track, but honestly, if I'm listening to this album, guys, I kind of skip We Good, because it's just not that good. It's not the best first track to start off. There's tracks that get better within the album, but to start off with We Good, honestly, probably not the best start, so I'll give this track like a 3 out of 5. The next track, though, Lightyear Practice. Now, Lightyear actually had a really good beat. I love the kind of spacey, kind of trap instrumental that Lightyear has, and it feels like that. I just wish there was a little bit more, Lil Uzi Vert rapping on this one. But overall, Lightyear's a pretty okay song. So I will give this Lightyear probably just, an easy fucking, an easy 3 out of 5. But, guys, I can't be, being saying okay for long, because the next track is Meter Man. Meter Man is an absolutely fire track. I love the flow of this track. I love the beat of this track. Those spacey elements really pop off. And I really wish there was more of these, like, songs in this album. It kind of feels like, you know, there's not many of these songs in this album. There's kind of just, like, just okay songs. And then there's, like, a few bangers, like Meter Man. I think Meter Man's a fire track, 4 out of 5. Pears in the Mars. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about this track because it's that forgettable. But what I do remember of this track is that it kind of goes off the basis of Meter Man with the kind of the space vibes. But I'm not really feeling this track, and honestly, I don't even fucking remember it. So fucking 2 out of 5. Now, we did do a track review of this track, so I'm not gonna go too much detail in the next track. But as I'm already talking about this album, guys, I just want to point out, we are on, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're already on the 5th track. We're getting into that midpoint already. And I'm not finding a lot of tracks that want to keep me staying on the album. Honestly, the only thing that's keeping me on this album is that this shit's my job now. That's the only reason. If I was actually, listening to Lil Uzi Vert right now, if I was listening to, my own time, I would probably turn off the fucking album at this point. I can't even lie to you. If the tracks are this basic, if they're this boring, if there's nothing that's grabbing me in none of these, I'm kind of just going to dip. So, already not the best start, but The Rush featuring Big Time Rush, which I did mention in my review, absolutely no fucking mention of Big Time Rush. If you think Big Time Rush is the feature on here, you are going to be highly disappointed. Because, again, the only reason why I think, this is kind of a conspiracy theory, but I do think the only reason that the Big Time Rush is featuring here is so Lil Uzi Vert can just say he's Big Time Rush on the hook. But this track does bang, though. This track absolutely bangs. I love the beat. I love the Big Time Rush hook. It absolutely hits. This song's, the verses, too, the flows are pretty good on The Rush. The Rush is actually a pretty good track. Even if there's no, Big Time Rush. Guys, I don't fucking listen to Big Time Rush. So it's not much of a disappointing factor to me. But The Rush is overall okay. 4 out of 5. Not an option. Not an option. This one is actually a good track, too. I like this beat. I like this hook. This is a pretty okay track. This is like a 3 out of 5. But this track, She Stank. This track, we are definitely getting in some low points of the album already. And when the next fucking track is She Stank, which I'm not even lying or joking to y'all, he literally says this shit over and over again on the damn hook. I mean, and it's not even like a way that like could be like, all right. He's saying that, but he, says it fires, so it hits, you're bumping your head. No. I mean, this motherfucker is literally just saying, it stanks on the hook over and over again. The next track, by the way, She Stank is 1 out of 5. Mr. Chow, 1 out of 5. Chips and Dip. What the fuck is that even titled? 1 out of 5. Alright, guys, Chips and Dip. I don't even know what this hook is. I don't even know if there's even a fucking verse in Chips and Dip. And Lift Him Up just repeats a hook over and over and over again for like a fucking minute. And the beat absolutely is no different than fucking Mr. Chow. So I don't know. That one too. 1 out of 5. But now we're getting back into some decent tracks. Black Hole. I like Black Hole. Black Hole's a great track. I love the production. I love the flows here. I love Lil Uzi's fucking vocals here. Black Hole, absolutely hits. This is like honestly, this is probably like, guys, I'm gonna be real with you. This is probably like a 5 out of 5 track. I like this track. Chill Bay. It went from one of my least liked tracks to now when I listen to Chill Bay, I'm like, where the fuck is more of these songs? Like, why do we have tracks like Chips and Dip, Lift Him Up, Mr. Chow, She Stank? Why is that all 4 tracks back to back? Let's get some more, Chill Bay vibes, because Chill Bay, great, decent hook. It's grown on me. The vocals have also grown on me. This is a good track. 4 out of 5. Goddard song. Again, this is kind of just okay. It's kind of whatever. 3 out of 5. Perky Sex. Now, the title is fucking wild. I won't even lie. Perky Sex is a crazy title, and the hook is kind of crazy. And some of the vocal styles people may not like, but this track has become kind of a guilty pleasure for me, I guess you could say. Perky Sex is definitely an interesting track, but guys, I don't know what it is. The hook on Perky Sex absolutely fucking bangs. 100%. 5 out of 5 track. Conceited. Conceited is like the track. It's like one of the last tracks off the album. The last track is called Space Hive. We'll get into that next. There's not much to say about Conceited. It's short. It's kind of whatever. The production's kind of whatever. It's okay. 3 out of 5. And then the final track to kind of end it off, which we're kind of ending this episode off too. Space High. Space High. I think this track absolutely hits. And I think it hits in the beginning. It hits in the mid. And then it fucking falls off at the end because it does this like weird, like fucking space ending transition to trans out the album, which makes no sense because, like, to be real with y'all guys, there is no story to this album. There's no anything to this album. So why was that even there? Like, you could have just put another verse. You could have put it like the hook again. Like, did you really need to ruin Space High? Like, I don't even want to listen to Space High on my own time because it's kind of fucking ruined at the end. Guys, that's the last track. That's the last track. Oh, Space High, though, it's a 4 out of 5 song, though. So, 4 out of 5 for Space High. Guys, that's all of my thoughts on every single track off Eternal Atake 2. Guys, this is the end of part 2. Part 3, we're going to get my overall thoughts. And, maybe do some more gambling. I can't even lie to you. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, again, follow, turn on notifications. Part 3 is coming out Tuesday night. We're going to finally cap off my thoughts about Lil Uzi Vert. And we're going to move on. We're going to move on to some more R&B. Probably some pop songs this week that drop. Christmas pop songs. We're going to be covering all that stuff. So we're going to switch it up, guys. But thank you so much for checking out all of these album reviews this week. Guys, it's been a blast. Part 3, the final part of this Lil Uzi Vert album review. Tuesday night. Bye.